perhaps had spiraled into some distant corner of the world, where he could no longer reach her. Years passed, and the silence lulled her into a fragile sense of security. With Adrian by her side, she believed Marcus had become nothing more than a shadow from a painful past. But shadows have a way of lingering, waiting for the right moment to reemerge. Though Eliza never spoke of him to Adrian in detail, there were nights when she would wake in a cold sweat, convinced she heard Marcus's voice in her dreams. She buried the memories, locking them away, unaware that Marcus's silence wasn't surrender. It was preparation. And in the quiet of their new life, his return would be far more devastating than his absence ever was. It began with small, almost dismissible things, the sort of details people explain away without thinking twice. One evening, as Eliza was reading in the living room, she heard a faint tapping noise coming from upstairs. At first, she assumed it was just the old pipes groaning, or the wind rattling against the windows of their Victorian home. But when she went upstairs, the sound stopped abruptly, leaving only the heavy silence of the empty hallway. She shook it off, but a seed of unease had been planted. Days later, Adrian experienced something similar. Returning home late from surgery, he swore he heard footsteps echoing above him as he set down his briefcase in the kitchen. Believing Eliza was still awake, he called out to her, but no answer came. When he climbed the stairs, he found her fast asleep, untouched by the noises he was certain he'd heard. For the first time, Adrian hesitated to dismiss the strange disturbances. They weren't just Eliza's imagination. Something was happening in the house. Soon objects began to shift mysteriously. A picture frame that Eliza swore she left on the mantel was suddenly lying flat on the coffee table. The back door, which Adrian always locked before bed, was found slightly ajar one morning. Even stranger were the family photos. More than once, Eliza noticed them rearranged, as if someone had deliberately handled them. Sometimes tilted at odd angles, sometimes moved entirely. Each discovery made her heart pound faster, the realization creeping in that their perfect home no longer felt safe. The sense of being watched grew impossible to ignore. Eliza often caught herself glancing over her shoulder, convinced someone was standing in the